combat operations. Protector online.
Oh, good night.
Technology needs more work.
Wow, that was exciting. Holy moly, man. New heroes, a new Battleground, it looks like, new skins coming out. I am here with Ken Eric Hagman, who is our current lead hero designer for Heroes of the Storm. Lay it on me. It looks like we have new heroes?
Yeah, we've got 2 new heroes coming with a whole new event. We are so excited to bring this to you guys, our players. We've got a new Battleground, Volskaya Foundry. We've got coming up next, Ana. So we're really excited to bring these heroes and this Battleground to you guys.
You mentioned Ana, but I saw a Junkrat too.
There may have been a Junkrat sighting. I don't know, was he in that?
I saw something there. It looked pretty exciting. So today we're not getting too many details about the heroes, but is there anything you can say to get me excited about Ana? Because she's one of my characters, one of my favorite healers, I think, from Overwatch.
Right, no, Ana is really exciting. So we really want to kind of capture that Overwatch feel of like, hey, if you're missing your shots, you're missing your heals. So what's really exciting about Ana is we're bringing a true skill shot healer to the game. You know, someone that you're going to need to, get your game on point if you're going to be healing your team well with her.
Okay, I look forward to that. It's exciting. You mentioned event. So is this very similar to our Lunar Festivals, our Diablo event? What's this going to be? What's it entail?
Well, so it's definitely very similar. We're going to have some pre-game events going on, some Pachimaris flying around.
Cute.
We've got a new Battleground for you guys, and we've got a little event quest going across all of it. So you can expect a lot of content coming to you guys real soon.
Okay, so give me the lowdown, the new Battleground. What are we looking at?
So we got Volskaya Foundry. It's a 3-lane Battleground. I don't know, when are we showing it to you guys? Because I don't want to spoil it too much for you, but we've got some new giant mechs that will be coming in there. This is a 2-player vehicle that our players are going to be kind of working Cho'Gall style with to destroy the enemy heroes in addition to pushing down those lanes.
I mean, let's go ahead and check it out here. We actually have Cloakin, who's going to give you the lowdown on the new Battleground, Volskaya Foundry.
After discovering her factory and the surrounding city in danger of being invaded by beings from other worlds, CEO Katja Volskaya immediately began work on a new mech series to defend her homeland from the denizens of the Nexus. Now, the Triglav Protector is ready for testing. Volskaya Foundry is a medium-sized 3-lane battleground. At the top, center, and bottom of the foundry sit 3 control points. Periodically, a control point will activate, and teams must vie for control of the point to acquire a massive mech vehicle. Ownership of a point can be gained by standing inside the designated area. However, if an enemy happens to also enter the area, the point will become contested until the foe is eliminated. Once a team assumes possession of a point, they will begin to accrue victory progress at a steady rate. Teams must remain in the area to continue this progress, as stepping away will eventually return the point to a neutral state. As in Overwatch, if a control point reaches 99% and an enemy remains to contest, the point will enter an overtime state. This overtime state will only last a few seconds, but it is reset whenever an enemy player steps onto the point. Once a team's victory progress finally hits 100%, they will close out the objective and initiate deployment of a Triglav Protector. The Protector is similar to other piloted objectives in Heroes of the Storm, like the Dragon Knight or Garden Terror, but it is unique as a 2-person vehicle. The first person to enter the Protector will assume its pilot position. This player will control the mech's movement and use of sieging and support abilities. Charge will propel the Protector toward a targeted enemy's position, dealing area damage around it and double damage to structures and minions. Rocket Fist launches a concussive fist that will root the first hero it hits or disable a targeted structure for a brief period of time. When activated, Shield Emitter will provide the mech armor and grant a shield to allies in its proximity. The second person to enter the Protector will take on the gunner position and has access to a deadly set of damage-dealing abilities. After a range-defining windup, the Protector's particle cannon can launch a projectile to a target location, dealing area damage upon impact. The mech can also initiate Gatling Cannon, unleashing an ongoing barrage of missiles at your cursor location for a brief period. Or activate its Scorching Laser to cut a line in the terrain that will trigger a delayed explosion for heavy damage. In addition to the Protector, spread across Volskaya Foundry are 5 mercenary camps, 2 siege camps, 2 turret mercs, and a singular support camp. Utilize the pushing power and activatable resources from these camps to bolster your team's aggression and push further into enemy territory. The control points across Volskaya are unique in a few ways. Each layout is different and will require you to engage the objective with a variety of tactical strategies. On top of that, the addition of moving conveyor belts around the points brings a dose of chaos that can amplify your team's approach or stifle it completely. Make sure you understand the direction each conveyor belt is moving around your point when you decide to engage or retreat. Even if your back is against the wall and it looks like the enemy is about to capture a point, do not lose hope. If you defensively dive a point before it hits 100%, the enemy cannot secure victory with you present. Safely hold your ground and get your team to back you for a team fight that could turn the tide. You do not want to underestimate the power of the Triglav Protector. In the hands of talented players, this mech can unload a ridiculous amount of damage. Volskaya Foundry is primed to test its remarkable new technology. How are you with mechs? Ready to be a pilot? A gunner? Or just a test dummy? We'll see you in the Nexus.
I have so many questions. First off, I'm excited, so I'm gonna throw that out there. Second off, did I just see conveyor belts on a Battleground?
You did. So we're really excited to bring conveyor belts through Volskaya Foundry. Now these are a very strange mechanic.
Okay.
I mean, they're very simple to understand. I get it. Things on the conveyor belt, it moves. But when you start making loops with them,
Sure.
when they're around a capture point and you really want to get there, you realize, oh man, like I have to change the way I think about each of these areas based on that. And what's really fun with the conveyor belts, our design team knocked out of the park here, is that you can put things on the conveyor belts and they will move. So you can put that Gazlo turret on there and it will spin in that full circle. Tyrael can throw out his sword and the conveyor belt will carry it forward so he can teleport further away. Or some of our personal favorites are the Medivh portals on the conveyor belts.
The portals move?
The portals will move.
What?
Yeah, so we've tried as much as we can to get everything possible to interact with those conveyor belts so that our players can come up with really unique, fun, and interesting gameplay out of these belts.
Do you enjoy just breaking things for us Heroes players that are like trying to be standard?
Well, I think what this really does though is also opens up new avenues for
Sure.
interesting plays, interesting flanks, and also interesting denials. You may have noticed on some of those capture points, those conveyor belts are pulling people away from the point. And so that kind of limits where you can come in to take that point. And so it's really going to change up the way you defend that point and also attack that point.
Okay, well, looking forward to that, see how we'll control those points. Speaking of the points, what are some of the map mechanics that we'll be looking at for this Battleground?
So this Battleground, if you it's like this hybrid of Infernal Shrines meets Dragonshire,
Okay.
right? And so like Infernal Shrines, these periodic events will pop up in the middle of this 3-lane Battleground. But the capture mechanic is more of that King of the Hill style that we wanted to bring over from Overwatch
Sure.
with that awesome overtime mechanic, which really means you're never really out of it until you're fully out of it, right? And then on top of that, with this vehicle, similar to the Dragon Knight, but being 2 players, we really wanted to kind of bring more of that Punisher style feel where like this thing will kill heroes. And so we're really excited to let players, by putting 2 players into it, we could increase the power of that vehicle. And by putting this damage behind skill shots, again, more power.
So 2 players control this?
Yes, so it's like Cho'Gall. You're going to have a pilot and you're going to have a gunner.
So what happens when I play Cho'Gall and I try to jump into it?
Oh, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Does the game divide by 0?
Sure.
No, Gall will simply ride alongside, similar
Yeah.
to the way he does on the Dragon Knight. So technically, you could put Cho'Gall in there and then another hero, and you have kind of 3 heroes on that one body.
Wow.
Then Abathur Symbiote, and
Yeah, you just go crazy. Let me know if I'm being annoying here. Can I put 2 Vikings in one?
No,
of
so
it?
for the
Okay.
Vikings, we limit it to a single Viking.
Okay.
It was just so much to try to hop between them that we were like, let's just limit it to single Viking.
So we already have a couple vehicles in the game right now. We have the Garden Terror, obviously, and then we have the Dragon Knight from Dragonshire.
Right.
In terms of power levels, in terms of damage, how would you compare this vehicle compared to those 2?
So the Dragon Knight and Garden Terror are much more like siege pushing machines,
Sure.
right? You know, they are your siege engine, your trebuchet, kind of all rolled into one. This one, the pilot, kind of can serve as that siege engine, but this gunner, this is much more like that Infernal Shrine's Punisher. This will kill people. And so when you see this thing coming at you, you're going to need to be a little bit scared, but also figure out how you're going to survive its deadly barrage of attacks.
So we saw a couple of highlights in that video in terms of what abilities would be coming online, but how do you even use those abilities? Are they activatable similar to the other vehicle? Do they require a little bit more skill?
So these abilities will sit on the QWE of your hotbar when you hop in there, similar to your Dragon Knight, similar to your Garden Terror. Now, we recognize this vehicle, it's a little bit more nuanced, it's a little bit more complex than your standard vehicle, and so we kind of wanted to help address that. So we're doing a couple things. Alongside Volskaya will come a new brawl called Bash 'em Smash 'em Robots, and on there, it's this new 1-lane map we've made that we're really excited. It's got like an S-curve to it, so for all you A-rammers out there, we've got a new 1-laner for you. But this brawl is going to continually spawn mechs for both teams.
Okay.
So both teams are going to get a mech, people hop in, they're going to bash, they're going to smash, and once both mechs dies, a new fresh pair of mechs will drop down. This will offer our players a low-stress environment upon which they can kind of get used to both the pilot and the gunner, because we know that's a lot to take in. And then on top of that, for the more hardcore, competitive-minded, we're going to try to get a sandbox map out the door with this, that players can kind of spawn in the mech and just in a very, very safe, kind of try-me mode style environment, try out this mech and all of its abilities so that they can master those skill shots.
And you mentioned a little bit earlier there's a special event coming with Pachimaris. What does that mean?
Right, so for all of you guys who are around for Lunar New Year, if you might remember before the gates open, yeah, the rooster, there was the monkey, right? And so we've got, Overwatch loot boxes will just be spawning all over your base. You're going to try and capture as many as you can. Every time you open a loot box, Pachimari is going to come flying out, and there's a chance for that golden Pachimari. And also, every time you open a loot box, you and your team are all going to start moving faster and faster and faster and faster and faster until you're racing around, just like Tracer would be, just racing around, opening up as many loot boxes until your team finds that golden one.
Okay, sounds fun. Well, now it's time for the hard-hitting question.
Yes, please.
Competitive play on this Battleground. What do you guys think about it? Are you keeping an eye on the competitive scene when it comes to these Battlegrounds? And do you think our pro players will like this map?
I certainly hope they do, right? It's always a question of how will this Battleground go, Sometimes Battlegrounds, they have a little bit of a learning curve, and before we kind of iron out the kinks, like Towers of Doom, one of the big things we got to do for that Battleground was standardize when those triple spawns were happening because they created a lot of chaos, right? So we're hoping with this Battleground, it's a bit more standard in regards to the mechanics. They're all tweaks on mechanics that you've known, King of the Hill style, having a vehicle, right? But they're just kind of amplifications of those. And so we think this will play a little bit more standard like that. But honestly, time will tell, and tell will time, right? We'll see what the pro players do with it, but we're really excited about it.
Is that a saying right there? I just heard that from you. And one more thing on competitive maps. Are you guys keeping an eye on Battlegrounds that might need to be adjusted to be a little bit more competitive viable? I mean, Hanamura in the past, even Chris Hollows and things that might be able to be changed?
Yeah, so we're definitely taking an eye at these things. Like our Battleground team, they're just now starting on this, so I don't know when any of this is going to come out. But we're really excited about leveling up the Battleground experience, especially for our high-end competitive and professional play. And so we're experimenting with things like telegraphing where the next tribute's going to spawn on Cursed Hollow, right? Because so that way then your team can actually adapt a meta strategy around it. Or Battlefield of Eternity, where are those first Immortals going to spawn? Is it going to be Angel on the top, or is the Angel going to be on the bottom? Like, how does left team or right team want to station out? But if we kind of standardize these things, what's really cool is it allows a meta to develop. Like, if we always know blue side's Angel is going to be on top, we can go 4-1 split and a 1-4 split. And now suddenly, like a meta game can develop around that, or strategies, which can then develop counter strategies. And if those take root, counter strategies. But then if the original strategy, you can start to develop these real things just by us giving the players more information. And that's really what this is about. And so we're exploring ways to do that for the Battlegrounds that have elements of randomness to them. We think that they're good, but we think it could be better.
Awesome. Well, exciting to see if those changes do come in. Thank you for enlightening us and letting us know. Of course, let them know on Twitter and such if you guys enjoy that. Now, I have heard that Volskaya Foundry, we will have a chance to potentially see a competitive game. Are you ready for it?
Yeah, no, I'm excited to see this.
So, the Volskaya Foundry Showdown will be happening on September 21st. Gale Force Esports versus Team Freedom. It'll be here on this channel, twitch.tv/BlitzHeroes at 10 a.m. PT, also 7 p.m. CEST for those that are across the world. Make sure to tune in and check it out, man. I'm actually very excited to see how that will completely unfold here. Now, before walking away here, Anna, just tell me a little bit more about her. Is it skill shot based?
Yes, it's all your healing is skill shot based.
Okay.
So you need to be on point again, land those skill shots, land those healing darts to get your team healed up.
Okay, well, we've been talking about it already on Twitter at Heroes Esports using the hashtag HEC. People have been mentioning this is actually very exciting here. So let's go ahead and check out a couple of tweets from you at home and get some questions answered that could be coming in from Ken Eric. Anna and Junkrat, let's go. The excitement's already rolling in, Ken Eric. Next one, let's go ahead and check it out and see what's going to be happening here. It looks like, oh my God, sniper healer hype. Yes, that's the first thing I thought when I saw it too.
It's actually way more fun than I ever thought it would be. I was like, oh, all right, we're going to make this hero, we're going to make it fun. And then we put it in and I was like, oh my gosh, this is the most fun healer I've ever played. And I just got done playing StuComp.
Well, from Yuna, oh, she's a streamer that's been floating around lately. 2 new heroes, hype. I'm deep down wanted Sombra, but that's okay. So much hype, awesome work. Maybe we'll get Sombra another day.
Who doesn't want Sombra, right?
Yeah, she's pretty awesome. I love her candy cane skin in Overwatch. It's one of my favorite heroes to play, running around and grabbing all those health bars and such. So the hype is continuing to roll in here. One more from @A. What a great time to be a Heroes of the Storm fan. I gotta ask you, when you guys put out these new content drops and such, how excited for you at home to be working on these?
Oh man, it's really exciting. The toughest part though is like keeping it inside for so long because we've worked so far in advance on this stuff. But these are always like our favorite moments, right? Like, oh, all right, finally the world will get to know about this cool stuff that we've got planned for them, right?
Yeah, very, very exciting, man. Now, let's go ahead and ask one more question for Ken Eric, and then we're gonna call it a day. When can we start to see this new stuff?
I don't have any firm dates for you, I think, but I know that early next week is where we're trying to get that PTR out. Don't hold me to that, technical stuff aside, but we really want to get this stuff in your guys' hands on the PTR ASAP.
Looking forward to it. Keep your eyes peeled for next week for more details on some of that stuff coming out your way. That's it here. Ken Eric, thank you for joining us so much. Thank you for showing us new content. We know we're going to love it and we're going to enjoy it. For now, we're going to get ready for our next series here in Europe. Thanks for tuning in.